going on, everybody, and welcome. What is it? June 29th? My goodness, this has been a long month. This was a month I got a year older. It's been a crazy long month this month. And I could say that. I don't know why because I'm watching Rumble, it looks like it's a little blurry. Not too bad. Anyway, if you're watching on any of the other social media channels, just go do me a solid. There's a reason to my madness, but watch on Rumble. Although the chat there doesn't show up because Rumble hasn't figured out that integration yet. Hopefully they do. But they are apparently going to be rating channels tonight. So I'm hoping that if we have a lot of viewers over there, it'll benefit me, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so we're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. So I hope you've got your seatbelts fastened. We do have a special going on tonight for the next 24 hours. If you use code Get Some Sleep Clyde, all one word, Get Some Sleep Clyde, all one word, you get 20% off. 20% off, which is pretty amazing. Because that is our troll discount for the day. I did my best at trying to be like diplomatic while dealing with Clyde and his 17 fucking accounts on Twitter today, but I had a hard time with it. So I finally just blocked his last one just because I just couldn't do it anymore. But he apparently doesn't like my takes about the transportation industry because he feels that someone that works in trucking, for 17 years, but doesn't necessarily have a lot of like cross-country nationwide OTR, then they don't have any right to talk about transportation while not actually finding any single point I disagree with. So it was very perplexing. It was a very perplexing conversation back and forth, to be honest. I tried to be as nice as I can and many of you guys know Clyde. Clyde has been watching for a very long time. CLYDE. Yes, that's right. So Get Some Sleep Clyde gets you 20% off site-wide today on coffeecanman.com. That's everything. But yeah, it was very weird because he's been watching a long time. He actually asked me for a job a long time ago. We just weren't able. I asked him to shoot a protest and he shot something and the video was horrible. And I'm like, it doesn't work. But we got a lot of people watching on Rumble tonight, Jen, if that's what you're asking, because I asked people to watch on Rumble tonight. Anyway, so I guess our biggest news story today is not a freight one. Our biggest news story today is, but anybody that's been watching for a long time, especially when we talk about the politics and stuff, remember that group, the 1776 restoration movement in DC, and how they kind of faded off into obscurity, but there's a couple of them that kind of broke off and they've been holding their own protest outside of the Capitol or outside of the courthouse, the political prisoner thing that's been going on there. Well, apparently one of the guys, and I knew I didn't like that group. I liked what they stood for to a certain extent, but I knew I didn't like that group. And yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I didn't like that group, but I just always got bad vibes from it. And now it turns out one of the original people that was hanging out with all the 1776 folks at the where was it? The park there. I forgot what park. He's been arrested today and charged with some serious shit. He's not getting out of jail anytime soon. So anyway, this guy's name is Taylor Taranto. You may or may not remember Taylor Taranto, but apparently he, was around the 1776 restoration movement for a very long time. But I guess his rhetoric on social media has gotten quite a bit different and more drastic, so much so that they were watching him. And he had a warrant, I guess, for something to do with January 6th. And then he attempted to, when police tried to arrest him for the warrant, he was staking out Obama's home in Washington, D.C. I'm not even making this up. He was staking out Obama's home and live streaming it. The Secret Service tried to, stop him. He fled, running towards Obama's home, but was apprehended before reaching it. In his van, which was close to where he was arrested, police found multiple weapons and materials to make some sort of explosive device akin to a Molotov cocktail, but it had not been assembled, according to law enforcement. He said he had explosive, but first responders only to make them. U.S. officials are concerned because he had made threats also had an open figure, y'all, related to January 6th, they say. Stuff, dude. Absolutely crazy stuff that that's going on there. But anyway, that's about it. I mean, there's a lot of news stories. I'll be honest with you. Just talking about it's kind of like what I said yesterday. Just talking about the freight industry and talking about some of the aspects of it. Today, I listened to like a 4-hour Spaces about trucking and about this disconnect between freight brokers and trucking companies, which is really funny because you guys know, everyone that's been watching forever, that's really when I started Freight Broker Live, because there was all this problem between truckers, the same shit that's happening now, because rates were low when I started Freight Broker Live, 5 years ago? Rates were really low, and the same thing that always happens, the carriers turn their animosity towards the freight brokers because they believe freight brokers are stealing their money. Even though it's not, it doesn't actually work that way. It's business, and a lot of the people that believe that freight brokers are stealing their money, they don't have experience working in the industry. So you know what I mean? They don't have enough time doing on both sides. So I may make a free course, and it's going to be at like a crash course into freight brokers for truck drivers. I think I may do that because many of you guys know I used to do the courses all the time. I used to pay for them. I won't even do that now. Or make people pay for them. Now I'll just do it for free. Free education of truck drivers. Because here's the thing. If truck drivers firmly understand what's happening in the industry, then they'll be, I personally believe regulations will actually start getting passed, because then when they go and try to push for regulations and different things, which is weird because these are the same people that likely don't want a bunch of regulations and things happening, which is, I don't know. It's very funny. The whole thing is very, very funny, but there's just so much conversation about because for anyone that doesn't understand how it works, let me explain how it works. And I kind of did this yesterday, but I'll do it again just in case you have no idea. In the freight industry, you have essentially 4 main characters, right? So you have the shipper or receiver. We'll just include those as one. You've got the freight broker, which is someone that handles the transportation, right? So they're the ones who arrange all the transportation. Then you've got the carrier, whether it's a motor carrier, or independent operator, solo truck, it doesn't matter. And then you have all the back office that deal. And the back office is both on the carrier side and on the dispatch or on the broker side, because there's a lot. So when you start putting all them together, if each individual segment doesn't understand the jobs and the responsibilities of everybody else, guess what happens? Shit falls apart. And that's exactly what's happening, because you got shippers that are tendering loads to carriers that they believe are brokers because they don't know how to verify whether a carrier is a carrier or a carrier is a broker. And you just have this never-ending cycle of bullshit in the transportation industry. And then it all stops, right? When rates start coming up again, then everybody's going to just stop complaining about it. Yeah, and mark my words, in a year or so, when freight rates start coming up, because I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, when they start coming up, everybody's going to be like, yes, 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 we're making money, and they're not going to complain about the things that they've been complaining about now, about broker transparency and all this stuff. Because carriers believe they have the right that they have the right to see the exact profit that a shipper, that a freight broker is making. So that middleman, right? And which I don't understand that. Like, the whole argument doesn't make sense. It's like me getting pissed off because my neighbor bought the same car as me, but paid $100 less. I don't get pissed off because that was my negotiating skills that failed and didn't get a good deal on the car. I always try to understand that that argument, but I haven't been able to figure it out. And a lot of people, I heard it today with the Kevin Rutherford Spaces on, and you may recognize that name because he's like a famous dude that used to have a show on Sirius, and he's not on Sirius anymore. He got canceled, but he was on Twitter today talking about all this. And so I was really taken aback by how many drivers didn't have a firm understanding of the industry. They all thought they did. You know what I mean? They all thought they had a firm understanding of the industry, and they knew what freight brokers are supposed to provide, in terms of paperwork, and they knew, and they were asking why they get away with this and all this weird stuff. And even Rutherford kept saying, like, the person that determines how much you make is you. It's not someone else. And I don't know why that's hard. And what they essentially want is they want the entire, they believe, well, see, and I don't really know. I guess what they believe is that the rates that are being sold to them, that the broker is getting paid the same contract rate that they were when rates were good. And now they're paying carriers less and making more profit. Although that's not how it works at all. Because if you're working freight on the spot market, it's typically not contract freight, because if it's contract freight, the rates are lower. Everybody can go and see that by looking at the load boards right now. If you look at contract freight, it's lower. DFM Data Corp said, been in the law for years. Most brokers have a waiver in their contract. Every single broker has a waiver in their contract. It is in the law that they're supposed to fully, open up their books, but they're not going to. That's, and to be honest, it's a stupid law. I understand the argument, but again, the way you can curb that's like saying a carrier, you're going to open up all your books to everybody else. Well, freight carriers pretty much do that anyway. I don't know. It's just very weird. It's very weird when you think about just how many people work in a particular industry that don't have a firm understanding of how the industry works, and yet they all expect that they're going to be successful. Transparency is what is defined. Yeah, but again, they're signing contracts that waive that transparency. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, you're not a good example because you hold patents. Like if you had, trade secrets, you wouldn't release those trade secrets to other companies so they can compete against you. That's why you patented your idea. Do you know what I mean? That's literally the whole reason why you patented your idea. Someone said, you just need to know enough to know what they're saying about you. I don't know what that means. I think you're talking to somebody else. That's the problem with the chats when you have the multiple chat. It's hard to tell who people are talking about or what you're talking about. Robert Walker said, personally, I would feel kind of wronged by the dealership if I paid too much. Yeah, but who's that who's that fall on? Does that fall on you? Or does that fall, like the actual fault, right? So say, for example, a broker is selling a load for $2,000. You accept that load for $2,000. Later, you're mad because you found out that broker made $300 on the deal, but you were the one that accepted that load for $2,000. That's what I'm trying to say is how can they be pissed at a broker when they're the ones accepting the load? And you can make an argument that they're being forced to accept the load because if they don't accept the load, they don't move, right? But in all reality, freight brokers, and I know this because I was one for years, freight brokers they're not out there making a ton of money. They're not. Some are, but in the large majority of freight brokers aren't out there collecting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, in gross profit. The small individual brokers, they're not doing it. It's just not how the business works. 360 Steven on Rumble said, I came over to Rumble. If you use a Rumble website, you could chat. That is true. You can. And I think you can do it on the mobile phone. I don't really know how Rumble works so much. But I think you can do it on the mobile phone. But a lot of people, and I don't know if anyone from Rumble is watching this, a lot of people, especially my viewers, get really confused. DFM Data Corp on YouTube said, have you read the FTC and their petition on the new rulemaking? You should see. No, because anything that James Lamb puts out, I can't get behind. Even if it's a great thing, I just can't do it. And if you're curious why, Google his name, followed by FTC. I can't get behind anything he does or anything he says. In fact, anytime he opens his mouth, I disbelieve it. And that's the truth. So he may have a great petition out there, a great regulation that he's trying to put out. I can't support anything that guy does. That's just my belief. Truckee said you can chat on mobile. Yeah, so that's cool. Boom, 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 boom. Someone said, Raina, what email have you sent it to? I've emailed saying I haven't got my order. Have you seen my emails? Yeah, but Raina, your order probably shipped. Your order unless it was, yeah, your order's already shipped. The order from June 13th. Oh, you know what? Pre-shipment June 15th. All right. Well, I will here real quick because you didn't get it. I know you got one, but you didn't get the other. So let me void this label. Right. Let's say other missing label. I know this is really great, entertaining. That's why I hate this. Like I wish I never started the coffee company, to be completely honest. It's such a distraction. And I don't blame you guys. I do the same damn thing. If I have a question and the guy's not answering, but he goes live every day, I'd be asking there. But all right, Raina, I'll fix that tomorrow. I obviously have plenty of coffee in the background. And I was supposed to get new boxes today. I didn't get them, but they're coming tomorrow afternoon and then I'll send them. So, but there you go, Raina. Someone said, "How about OIDAs?" I haven't looked at it, to be completely honest with you. I'll look at their petition. But what is it? Is it about, the problem is OIDA's petition has approved FMCSA rulemaking forthcoming too. Yeah, but again, what happens with the rules either? And I don't know what it is. So I'm not going to speak on something that I don't know what it is. It would be irresponsible to do that. But yeah, I don't know, man. The transportation industry, I believe that people just need to do a little bit more educating themselves. That's what they need to do. People that work in the industry have to spend more time trying to talk to other people in the industry. That's one of the reasons why I started Capacity Today up again. Is there is a gap in between the workforce, the people that are out there doing the heavy lifting every day versus the people that are the decision makers, right? Well, you could argue that the people that are doing the work are the decision makers, but I don't believe that everybody uses that same thought process, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place tonight, if you can't really tell. It's been a long day. And I'll tell you what, many of you guys know my wife is in California at a seminar or at a conference. And the past 2 days, the kids have been good. Today, they were kind of crazy. You know what I mean? They were kind of crazy. I've kind of lost my voice by yelling at them to be quiet all throughout the whole thing. They were but I don't blame them because we can't go outside. That's another thing that doesn't make any sense. Remember when there was those big wildfires in California, and those wildfires essentially shut down everything, right? Everybody was complaining about their breathing. All the smoke came down into the United States, and everybody was freaking out about it. Well, I was trying to find the picture that I took on my phone. Not that you're going to be able to see it, but I took a picture today of just outside, because this is I don't know if you're going to be able to really see that. Do you see that where it looks like fog or clouds? No, that's smoke. And this is right by my house. Like, look, there's a zoomed in photo of it. That is the same. Our air quality is extremely dangerous. That's when we looked it up. I asked my son to do it. It's extremely dangerous here. And I'm like, that's weird because the media is not talking about it now. You know what I mean? The media is not talking about how bad it is. DFM Data said that's why we need you back in trucking. DFM, I need a sponsor, homie. You want a sponsor? I'll go full time right back into I just can't do it. If you want a sponsor, send me a text. You could sponsor my show. I'll change the show right away and make it all freight. Because I'll be honest, I love talking about freight. I love that. Someone said, has the smoke reached there? Yeah, it's very, very, you could see it out here. It's very, very cloudy, and you could taste it. Like when you go outside, like my son, when I was like, look, it's the same thing. And he's like, yeah, I can taste it. And I'm like, and both of my kids are asthmatics. And the breathing quality is so bad that I'm like, not that they really could, but they have to stay outside or inside. My kids have to stay outside. That would be ideal. But I literally, I like finished doing dinner, because I cooked spaghetti and meatballs and garlic sticks today. But I don't cook. But I did it and it was good too. And then, of course, because I made it, I'm like, this is even better than when mommy cooks to my kids. And you know what they said? No, it's not, Dad. You burnt the breadsticks. But I thought it tasted better to me because it was all my labor that went into it. But yeah, it's just weird. TRC Freight said you'll sponsor your show. Send me an email, bud. Seriously, if someone wants to sponsor it, but it's just back about freight. That's all I want to do. You could be the title sponsor in any article we write, plus the show for a month. But someone said it tastes like dirt. I can't put the taste on it. I don't know what the taste is, to be completely honest. But I saw a video or not a video, but a photo from a truck driver that was driving in Pennsylvania, and it was worse than what it is here. And I'm like, damn, bro. But sorry, I was listening because my kids are being loud. But yeah, I came around the corner today and they're full on fighting in the living room. The big kid and the little kid. And then I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, being bad because he knew. Someone said it tastes like an ashtray. No, because here's the thing that's weird. You can taste it like in your mouth, but you can't put a taste to it. Like the last time, a couple of weeks ago, it was bad. Whatever it was that was coming down, they said it was smoke. It didn't smell like smoke at all. Didn't smell like smoke. It didn't taste like smoke, but they said it was smoke from the wildfires up there in Canada. But what's weird is they're not talking about it on local media like they did back then. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just not in New York City, so or even in DC as much, so they just frankly don't care. But to me, I was even saying to my kids, I'm like, it's way worse now than it was a couple of weeks ago. Someone said go roller skating. I can't because I'm actually working all day. That's the thing. Today we got out a bunch of the patriotic as F boxes. I'm waiting on my other shipping boxes. I got new boxes, 8x4x4, because you can't order boxes that are 7x3x3. They just don't make them. And you can't special order those boxes because something about the blades that cut the cardboard, they they stop at 4 inches, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, apparently I can't even special order boxes that small. Someone said those minty gums taste like old people. How do you know what old people taste like? Weird question. Shouldn't answer that probably. Someone said maybe a burnt tree taste. I don't know. Like the last one tasted like it was like chemically, so the smell, it was like chemically. And this one is different. It's kind of like I'll be honest, it feels like there's no taste. It is because it makes you have cotton mouth. Like I've drank more water today than I probably ever have. And my kids, they're all like stuffy, right? So they're sneezing and taking their inhalers more than they have been in a while. So it's kind of annoying. And I don't really know what it is. I guess it's still from wildfires, but I don't really know. But I don't think it tastes like a burnt tree. Not at all. I don't know. I wrote a couple of articles on capacity today. Nothing on Citizen Stringer, but on capacity today, I wrote a couple of just spaceholder articles because there wasn't a hell of a lot going on in the freight industry to talk about. I could talk about this YRC yellow or not YRC, this yellow. Well, I guess that is YRC, but yellow truck lines and how they're this whole thing. Like, let's be honest. You want me to be honest with you? I'll be honest. I think the Teamsters are acting like terrorists. I'll be completely honest with you. And I know some of you guys are probably union guys and you don't like to hear that, but that's what I believe. I posted out last night and I said, what if Russia was threatening to cause a disruptive catastrophe in the United States supply chain? What would we consider that? And pretty much everybody was like, oh yeah, that would be war. It would be an act of war. And then I said, now replace Russia with Teamsters, because that's literally what the Teamsters are doing in their own. Hold on, she's calling me. Hey, I'm live. Can I call you back? Are you okay? All right, I'll call you back. Love you. Bye. But yeah, crazy stuff, dude. Crazy stuff. Bum bum bum. Oh, yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. I miss my wife. I want her to come home for a variety of reasons. Sleep at night, which is crazy because normally she's just there and then she'll either go into the living room because I snore too loud or something. But I miss her. You know, it's weird because when I travel, I get homesick. But right now, I'm homesick to have her. You know, so I don't know. This is the first time she like when I travel, it's different, but it's the first time she's been away for a long time. But she comes back tomorrow, so it's just been a long week. And these kids are fucking crazy. Excuse my language. They're crazy. Someone said, "Do I think the U.S. Express sale the night Swift will go through?" I don't know. I I do think it'll go through, but that takes what I think U.S. Express is the third largest and Swift is the largest. That's a big trucking company out there. I think I actually wrote an article on that on the old Citizen Stringer, or at least talked about it on the show when it was first announced. Yeah. I was talking about unions. Yeah. So essentially, the Teamsters are refusing to negotiate with Yellow. Yellow wants to modernize their company, which they have to do in order to stay competitive in the marketplace, right? So they have a certain, initiative that they're pushing, which modernizes their workforce. It also requires some of their drivers will have to spend some time on the dock and things like that. The Yellow is comprised of all Teamsters, so the dock workers are Teamsters, the drivers are Teamsters, and they're apparently not okay with that deal. And so 8 months ago, they walked away from the negotiating table, and which is causing some problems essentially. And so Teamsters or the Yellow came out, and you may remember back when COVID under Donald Trump, they did the $700,000 or $700 million loan from the federal government to Yellow to keep them afloat. I know I was still, talking about freight every day. I couldn't believe they did it to a company, loaned them taxpayer money while everything was going on, but it was crazy. And so the in all reality, if Yellow fails, which a lot of people are suggesting that they're going to fail, if Yellow does in fact fail, that not only will 28,000 Teamsters lose their jobs, which is like, if you're a Teamster, you have to start questioning why you're paying union dues if you keep losing your jobs, right? Because they continue to endorse Democrats. Like today, I was retweeting it every single time the Teamsters retweeted a Democrat congresswoman or a Democrat senator, and they would retweet the show of support that the Democrat put on Twitter. And then I would just go and I would look up that person's record on oil or look up that person's record on this. You know how many Teamsters work hauling oil? All of these Democrats that are going out and saying we support the Teamsters, they all want, like, one, I forgot what his name is now, the moron, he literally wants to remove oil everywhere. No oil. He just wants all solar energy, no oil whatsoever. So all those Teamsters that are driving the tankers, they'll all lose their jobs. What happened with Keystone Pipeline? Remember that? Biden came in, single-handedly fired 30,000 Teamsters. And even the Teamsters at that point came out and they're like, wait, what the F? Like, why do you do that? And it's just crazy because now the Teamsters are basically holding our supply chain hostage, which doesn't make any sense that we're not treating it the same. Now, keep in mind, a real union president, the most union president ever, if he actually gave a shit about the union workers, he wouldn't have stopped the railroad shutdown in December. Remember that? It actually took an act of Congress to shut that down. They voted in Congress to prevent the union workers from striking. I don't want union workers to strike because I don't want shutdowns. I don't want supply chain disruptions because I understand, having worked in the industry for so long, I know how it affects us, just as a country. Thank you, Willis, for that super chat on YouTube. Thank you, bro. Someone said, I thought you were going to start streaming video games. I don't. I'm not really into it anymore. I'm growing up. I'm getting old. Like, I played Call of Duty. I like that game, Warzone, but then immediately I have to stop now because it's not, we're supposed to be protesting that because they fired someone for saying, leave my kid. All right, it's back. It's just jumping. And I know why it's doing it. It's because the kids are playing video games in the other room, but I kind of have no choice. What percentage of truckers might be Democrats? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what percentage of truckers are Democrats. I can't imagine it's that many. I don't know how anyone could be a Democrat right now because of what's happening in our country. But I don't know. I don't know how many. Hold on one second. I'm just double checking something. It's very perplexing. I think I'm back on Rumble. It cut out everywhere, and then it came back. But yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine many people are Democrats anymore. With the president doing all this stuff, like coming out today. Did they say an attack on our Supreme Court was like a major deal, and then he attacked our Supreme Court by just saying it's not a normal court and all this stuff because the Supreme Court ruled that you can't be racist? Like, can you believe that? That's what happened today. That was the big news. That's what everyone is up in arms about, is the Supreme Court ruled that colleges are not allowed to use affirmative action in terms of their application. So you have to use it has to be a merits-based system. The more someone deserves to go, it goes. I don't know. I just think I'm so tired of talking about politics. I really am. Every single time I opened, every single time I was talking to someone, it thinks someone can do something stupid. And this goes to conservatives and Democrats. When you any dumber in the things they say, something, and then you're like, my gosh, like, how? Doesn't make any sense. What the fuck is going on with this live stream? I don't know, because I could see it's horrible. So I don't know what it is. I could see the connection's no good. Pisses me off, man. And it's because of the kids. But if I tell them to get off video games right now, then they're gonna get loud and start fighting and do all that stuff. Might be foolish for asking anyone want to be racist, and what's the point of being that way? No idea. I have no idea. I can tell if I'm live, guys. I see it says network 8 out of 10, but why is it showing yellow? I don't know. The Teamsters F5. That could be, because I can see on Rumble pictures barely coming through right now. I don't know how it is on any of the other. It's the same on all the platforms. It's just not. It's not working, and I don't get it. I should just tell him to get off. But then again, I don't really have that much to talk about today. It's just been such an upside down day. But maybe it's when it's online playing video games. It probably is. Because this is bad, though. I haven't restarted the router in a long time. But it's weird because I'm on the computer. I never have issues. And then when I come live, it goes like, that's just really annoying. No, I think what I'm gonna have to figure this out. We have Xfinity, and it's good. Like, watch, I'll even do a test my speed here, because maybe it's just fucking restream every day. Maybe it's just restream because I have internet. Let's see how it is, and I'm wired to it as well. I mean, it's not that, but it's still averaging 190 down. Let's see what my upload speed is once it's done doing its thing. It is sitting at 20% or 20 megabytes per second. See, that's what I don't understand. I'm sitting down, so my download speed is 190, which is not fast, and my upload is 20. It's got to be restream. Yeah, it's got to be restream. Wouldn't you guys agree? Internet in the new house was running. Yeah, but when they installed Comcast, they put it all the way across the house. So we have one of their like spacers. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But this is pointless because if I don't even know, is my voice coming off as choppy? I don't know. You know what I may do is I may just go live later on. I know I'm going to be in a space, freight spaces that I want to listen to. I just wish, you know what I wish, and you guys probably can't hear me, but you know what I wish is I wish that with the spaces on Twitter that you could interact from a PC. So I could put my microphone on that, because typically I'm here and I don't want to be on the phone. But I don't know. Things are just crazy. Things are just crazy. Let's see if anyone has taken advantage of that promo code. Nobody yet. Nobody yet. If you guys want to save 20% today on your coffee order, go to coffeecanman.com. Use code Get Some Sleep Clyde. Get Some Sleep Clyde. Internet connection poor uploads. No, but they're fine. I got a feeling that it's like, for example, Restream is telling me my feed is 100%. Or it says, it's perfect. I can only assume that this has to do with Restream, like 3,400 bytes per second. So that's fine. I don't know, dude. There you go. Very. If you aren't running at least a gig, your streaming will suck. Not really. I've never run a gig down here. Dan said you were a Teamster for 20 years. At least 40% of us conservative. If that's true, Dan, then why do they not like ask a voter, their member consensus on who to vote for when they endorse? The Teamsters endorsed Biden Harris in 2020. Do they not ask? I don't know. Nanner said today and tomorrow. Yeah. I'm just trying to get my daily sales goal done. So if you want to order today, you could do that. Put it in the chat. Thank you, April. Use code Get Some Sleep Clyde, all one word, at coffeecanman.com. That goal, that's until tomorrow. Tomorrow, a couple hours ago. Well, listen, I'm getting the audio is okay, but the video is shot. So I'm going to end this for the day. I think tomorrow my show is going to be more freight. I'm going to switch this show to. I may do it in the morning too. Then the Rational American a couple of nights a week. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm getting all sorts of weird fucking emails and shit. I did get emails the other day that said my act. Q, who is that? Thank you. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna call it a night. The streaming gods aren't with me today. I'll refresh all of this stuff, so hopefully tomorrow it's pretty good. Stay tuned. It literally really good mood to be in the freight thing. So I think that's the direction I'm gonna go for the main side, and then Citizen Stringer will still report news, and I'll do this show, The Rational American, twice a week, and then go from there. But I appreciate all you guys, and I will see all of you tomorrow for brand new. I'll have new intro music and everything. See you.